You're listening to the Light Over Time podcast with David Sargent and Korey Bartos. It is February 15th, 2026, day after Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day was lovely. My fiance is under the weather, so we were basically just getting her well before her night shift, which starts right now. She is doing nights in the ICU this week, so yeah, she's pour one out for you boys. How are you, David?
I'm doing good. Had a nice weekend. We had a nice Valentine's Day also. Got all dressed up to go to a nice Italian restaurant, and when we got there was a sign slapped on the door that said, "Due to mechanical failure, we are closed." So
No.
we got all dressed up to go to the pub the next town over, but we still had a nice dinner, so cannot complain.
Dang.
It's a good weekend.
Yeah, right on. Well, we have a decent amount of things to talk about, in my opinion. I think you and I both have images to share,
Yeah.
some wild happenings that we can go into and chat about. And yeah, so we can get kind of just started. You have some wonderful images, and they're kind of my favorite types of images. So
I thought
we'll
you might like them.
we'll just let you roll into the old first story of the day.
Sure. Yeah, we're out of chronological order for the two I have, but UP 200. This is the dog sled race that happens every year in Marquette. It is an Iditarod qualifier. That is the, I believe, the longest of the 3 or 4 races. I photographed officially the midnight run finish, which is about an 80-mile out and back. But that is
Dang.
not the full UP 200. So there's like a dozen different volunteer photographers that have all coordinated, and some take some races and some take others. I volunteered to just do the finish for the midnight run. So those are the images I have. I do have a couple from the night that all the races started downtown in Marquette. They shut down Washington Street for, I believe it's like 3 blocks, and that's quite something to see the city do. And then with temperatures being in the mid 40s, which is blazing hot up here this time of year, the streets were like rivers with just water flowing. So they had to work real hard to truck in lots of snow to make a runway for these dogs to get started on this race, which was really cool. So I got a couple images from the starting night, which is always fun. There's thousands, tens of thousands of people that come from all over the state, some from all over the country, to hang out in Marquette downtown to watch this thing start, because all the teams are from all over the country as well, which is, I mean, when it's an Iditarod qualifier, you might expect that. So that's really cool. Lots of people. I borrowed a lens from my buddy Trent. He mentioned to me that he's got a couple f-mount lenses, one being the Nikon 105 millimeter AI, and I stuck that with the FTZ that I have on my Nikon ZF and walked around a little bit. I also had my son on my shoulders for a little while, and so I couldn't, just snipe out a bunch of shots uh, that I really wanted to. But with family in tow, I had fun, so got a couple of shots, kind of get the vibe a little bit. I thought the 105 actually was quite nice for the settings. I mean, like how dark it was. That glass, I can't remember what year it released, but we're talking probably at least 3 decades old.
Yeah.
That glass is good on a 24 megapixel sensor. Totally fine results.
Yeah, and it's 2.5 it wide open.
Yeah, 2.5 is wide open, and I did have it at 2.5. So I was happy. I mean, like close-up stuff, I was testing it out on other things. It's a beautiful lens. Like the out of focus background is rendered just gorgeously. So I'm going to play with that lens a little bit longer. Of course, it's manual focus, so a little difficult to use in scenarios where things are moving around, but still fun. So, and he's got a couple other lenses that are f-mount that I really hope I can check out. But yeah, so we did the starting night, and then doing the actual photography for the finish of the midnight run was a lot of fun. So these dogs went 80 miles. They started, I believe, was 8:30 p.m. on the night before, and then finished up right around. The first team finished. What time was it? Must have been close to 9:30 or so. And that was really cool. So I put myself in position to be under the finish line for the first 3 finishing teams. So these images here with the finish line there, these would be the first, second, and third place teams. That was really cool. I think I was using the 28 to 105. You have it up, and
that's the 16. This is
16.
This is the 28 to 105.
Yeah. So I was bopping between the 16 on the ZF, I think, and 28 to 105 on the Z8. And everything was working just fine. The images off of the 28 to 105 looked nice. The 16 was interesting to use.
Yeah.
Distortion on those gets a little wonky, but I thought it was still fun to get, kind of everything in.
Well, yeah, you're right in it. It's cool for sure.
Yeah. And then after the first, second, and third place, I was able to get further out, past some of the other volunteers, past some of the markers to kind of get cleaner shots. And I brought the 500 millimeter with me, and I thought, what a good opportunity to get these with the 500. So these dogs are so funny. It is impossible to take a shot of at least more than one without crazy tongue going everywhere and spit flying and eyeballs looking weird. So they're kind of goofy looking, but man, do they work. These dogs have been going at it for 80 miles, and there's one stop for them, and I don't know if they're required to stay there for a certain amount of hours, but they took at least one stop. And so there's probably sections of, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours at a time where these dogs were just going. And so this is the end for them. I don't know, how long they'd been running to finish this up, but they're work dogs, not work horses. I was going to say work horses, but they're fun to shoot though. There were absolutely 19 teams total for the midnight run. And so I was able to shoot 16 of them kind of out further, and with that 500 millimeter. And at the same time, I also had the ZF on a tripod. So when I was shooting them further out, got the 500. When they got too close, just put my hand on the shutter for a continuous on the ZF and got some wide shots as they passed by the camera, which was really cool. Yeah. I think I shot like 1,200 images, and just today I called it down to about 120 and edited and uploaded them to the portal that I was directed to. So got that all done. That was really nice. I had a good time with that.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just freaking love work dogs, dude. R.I.P. Yeah. I didn't get to go do dog running with Fjallraven this year, but there's always next year, because that's a true dream of mine. How freaking cool is that?
Yeah. Again, one of the things that surprised me last year that I remembered this year was very few teams included huskies or like bigger dogs in general. And we might have talked about this last year, but I was thinking about why that is, and I think it has something to do with like energy efficiency or something like that, like what it takes to keep them running, and bigger dogs needing to expend more energy or something like that. Maybe that's all made up in my head, but it makes sense to me.
Sure.
But yeah, this was the one team that featured mostly huskies, or all huskies. I don't know. Maybe they're a mix or something, but
yeah, for sure
they look like it.
Beautiful dogs. Also, I'm a dingus, so I wasn't on my PhotoShare scene when I was looking through these originally. So I'm going back through them right now.
Okay, yes.
It's all very cool.
Beautiful dogs. Fun to shoot. The Z8, of course, with the 500, absolutely no problems at all. I had it was just a breeze shooting them.
So yeah, this is so freaking sharp too, for being as far as you are and they're moving like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think they average about 9 miles an hour, so it's not crazy. But with all of them,
but at 500, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of little bits that could make this, not as sharp as it is, and then it's just cool.
Yeah, and I believe for a lot of those, I was standing near a fire pit, so there was kind of smoke coming in and out of some of these shots.
Yeah, and you gotta be careful too, because like Elle relearns this every time it's winter and we're trying to bird and coming in and out of the car. If you get out and you shoot over the car, the mirage off the car is insane.
Yeah, and I definitely didn't. I made sure to not put the fire pit between me and the shot, but I was close enough that it could have had a smoke effect.
Yeah. It'll do the thing, but yeah, just cuties, dude.
With the 500 and this specific sport, I thought it was interesting, the dynamic of having to choose who to focus on, lead dog or musher, And because there's quite a distance with 500 millimeters, even at a good distance, you have to pick one. You can't get both in focus.
Yeah, I
ever.
mean this isn't close, and the musher is completely gone.
Yeah, yeah.
It's wild.
So I tried my best to kind of go back and forth on almost all of them.
Yeah, it's really rad.
It was fun.
And then just some of the 105 photos that we went through. But yeah, man, that's cool. And it's got to be nice. I mean, I'll talk a little bit about it warming up down here, but like when 32 is like warm and you're like, oh, I just need a hoodie and a vest or something. I'm thriving right now.
I would say it probably was about 32 during this part of the night. And I think it warmed up to about 41, 42 in the day.
Yeah.
Whereas last year on this night, we were freezing our toes off, man. It must have been right around 0 on the race night last year. So we'll take it.
Makes a heck of a difference. That's cool, man. I'd love to photograph that sometime. That's really, really rad.
Well, I can get you in if you want to come up next year.
Yeah, I'll have to. It's super cool.
Yep.
Yeah, talking about warming up, I guess I can get right into some of this stuff. And apparently this is not in the right order for whatever reason, so I guess I'll bounce around.
Okay.
I have some birds and some things. So it's, we were starting to try to get into some birding when it was still really frigid. And Elle was super busy. I was kind of back and forth between Detroit and Kalamazoo, and everybody that knows I'm a birder was messaging me about this crested caracara that
I messaged Elle.
Dude, I had probably 5 or 6 people reach out to me, and I was like, yeah, we know it's there.
Okay.
Like we're gonna see what we can do.
Well, when I didn't realize how close you guys were to where it was sighted, so that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, like I think 40 minutes was like the maximum that we had to drive. But so I'm conflicted about stuff like this. So generally when there's like a cool rare bird, I try to like go to it, I'll snap a couple photos and I'll just leave. But it was really agitating, the types of people that were hanging out, and like the cops had to be called because people were like not pulling completely off the road and they were bogging down the area, and like it was like days of people trying to see this bird.
Yep.
And it's a very cool bird. Like it was probably on my top 5 or even top 3 of birds I wanted to see when we went to San Antonio in December. So, I got to see some. I photographed some then, and we saw them multiple times. They're beautiful and they're super awesome. I love birds of prey. I love eagles. I love osprey. Like, it's really, really cool. I get it. And this one particularly for birds that live up in Michigan, it is wild looking. It doesn't look like anything up here.
Mm-hmm.
But man, there was people that were just like, I don't know if it's just ignorance and like the true meaning of the word or what, but they're just like loud. They like don't even have like equipment or anything. So they're like, for them to hang out and just be loud around the people that are trying to like just snap some photos or like take some video or something is like kind of crazy to me. Like, and then a few of the people get sort of, the best way I could describe it is they feel kind of like entitled to be there.
Sure.
And like they're like, I'm at the bird. And then I'm like, what are you doing here? You're like, it's like you and 4 of your friends like having a conversation on the side of the road. You're not even looking at the bird now. I don't know what you're doing. And that's frustrating to me. I'm always kind of animal first, and if I feel like the animal's getting ultra stressed out, like I don't want to be there.
Sure.
I think the only time we made somewhat of an exception was when that snowy was over the highway, and we were trying to get the bird rehabilitators to make sure that it was safe, right?
That's
like,
definitely different.
Yeah. But otherwise, it's like, what are y'all doing? Like,
well, it seemed like it turned into a situation similar to the spoonbill that was in the Detroit area. 2020 or
something like that, yeah, handful of years ago.
Because I remember seeing pictures and reading articles where there were hundreds of people packed onto like an overpass by a river, and that thing was just, it was just like maybe 20 yards off the bridge, but the whole entire bridge was just lined with people, some with tripods, some without, you don't know, but that must be particularly stressful at times,
Yeah. And like maybe it is, maybe it isn't, depending on like what the situation is with the particular bird. It just gives me kind of like bad vibes. Like it's usually people that just like, I don't know, it's off-putting. We didn't get anything spectacular, obviously, but we got to see
Oh,
him.
I like that shot. That's cool.
Yeah, and so like we saw him, and I manual focused, and I tried
Yeah.
my best to just through all the brush find the exact spot where I got the least amount of like branches in the way, so it's as sharp as
Yeah.
possible. And then I left, and I was like, he's been here for a few days. They all pretty much reported that he would perch 4 hours at a time. So I was like,
Sure.
I'm not gonna sit here in the cold because it was still freezing for like 6 hours to maybe catch him fly.
Yeah.
So it was just a little weird. The cops that showed up were pretty nice, so that's not a big deal, but just kind of silly. Like people are just goofy to me, and
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird.
I hope he's okay. As long as they have food sources, I would guess they'll be all right.
Yeah, he was snacking on a deer carcass and stuff, and like there was a ton of bald eagles. There was like across the field from where he was, there was 3 in like perched in trees, like full grown bald eagles. We drove down another road like a mile and a half away, and this guy was just like above the street, super low. So we jumped out of the car and I snapped a photo of him when we left.
Nice.
It was really cool, but then it started to warm up, and yesterday, despite feeling a little under the weather, we bundled up and went for a little local walk. And when we were walking, this little guy flew right over us.
Whoa.
On the little river trail here outside of our house, and like I have a shot of him like above us looking down. He went across the river, flew back over to us, like flew right at Elle. She went up the stairs like to get on the bridge in Old Town, and he flew right up over her towards the pigeons that live on our building. And then we watched him fly back over. There's a ton of ducks on the river, and he like flew over by where a bunch of them were. And then I watched him for a little bit because I was pretty far away. I was like at 600. He was probably like 1/20th of my frame or something. But
Sure.
I was watching him just kind of bop around, and he would like drink some water. It was like the most normal bird behavior I've ever seen out of a little Cooper's. But it was cool to just kind of watch him from afar and see what he's doing. But pretty cool.
So is that a heavy crop?
No.
Oh,
This he's probably like, I don't know, I'd probably say 25 yards from me.
Cool.
Literally flew right up over me, down kind of just right over the railing by the river, and he like landed and was watching me, and I was like, I'm gonna snap a photo. Thanks, bud.
Nice. Well, that must be a little motivational in February.
Yeah, it was good. And then it was cool because like he seemed really chill, like he wasn't really bothered by anything. Like he was flying around the ducks and he was like looking for something to eat. And usually I see them, I took a video of him taking off, but normally they go like from perching straight to flying and going really quick. Multiple times I saw him do kind of like the little bird thing where they just kind of like leap off and fall like 20 feet, and then he opens his wings and he started flying. And I was like, I've never seen one of these guys do that. It was so weird. He was, and I think he's juvenile. He's definitely a young Cooper's.
I was thinking,
And so I think he was just playful and he was vibing. He didn't care at all that we were there. He would like watch us. It was almost like he was like, hey dude, check this out.
Nice.
And he like flew over and like messed with the ducks. And then, yeah, it was good. And then,
well, I know this time of year is breeding time for eagles. So I wonder if it's similar for hawks.
yeah, maybe for sure. And by Kruger's Landing here in Lansing, there's a ton of eagles that live there. So I saw this fella as well, which is pretty cool.
That's nice.
And then he was flying around and he perched, and I got a little shot of him. Today, before she had to go in, we did some walking around.
Hey, pileated?
What do you call it? Fenner Nature Center.
Oh.
And I got a couple of shots of this guy. He was seemingly unbothered, and got a little takeoff action from him, which is pretty cool. It's nice having that fast autofocus and that fast shutter.
Yeah, and those guys are so big. It's nice to get the takeoff from those.
Yeah, because they're like wacky.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool. You could see all the little like kicking up the dust and stuff. But
nice.
Yeah. So that was just pretty fun. It was nice to be able to actually, like, I was in a flannel. It was awesome. It was like 48 degrees or something today. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's toasty for us right now. It feels really good.
Yeah, it was nice. The only time it was like kind of cool is when the sun was behind the trees and I was standing on snow. So it wasn't bad. And then earlier today, the light was coming in our building, and my my 200 to 600 was still on my camera, but the cats were waiting for their food to drop, and I thought it'd be fun to take some 600 mil photos of Sadie listening to Jacob and being very unamused.
600. So is that like wall to wall?
Well, I was just on my bed.
Yeah.
We have a it's pretty spacious in the loft, which is nice. Basically, it's just a giant room with a mezzanine, essentially.
On the right, is that a shadow?
So this is the shadow. This right here is Jacob.
Oh, okay.
So she's literally staring at him like, "Why are you the way you are?"
Yeah.
She's super sassy. It was her birthday yesterday.
I like that. Just knowing that adds the context. Oh.
And then he was also unbothered and has a big yawn, and I don't know. Cats are cool.
You just make great photos.
Yeah, and ours don't have hair. Well, they kind of have hair, but they're hairless technically. And so they're just always kind of interesting to look at.
You get great light in there.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. So basically the sun sets out the main way and it comes in this way. And there's a window way up there, there's a window here, and then there's just tall windows, 2 stories of it, basically in the main room, which is nice. So yeah, we do pretty okay. So yeah, been able to get out, been able to shoot. Last week, before it got warm, I had it and I wanted to shoot for work really bad. This is a new product that we've developed at Detroit Gunworks, and I went out to chronograph some bullets, which is basically seeing how fast they're coming out of the muzzle, for those who don't know. If you're interested in firearm stuff, we had this out at SHOT Show, which is the biggest industry thing and the biggest industry trade show for firearms, and we do a range day where we can actually take these things out to 1,000 yards, which is really fun. But the ammo that was supplied to us it felt tepid. It was like anemic a little bit. I shoot the cartridge that this shoots. It's called 6mm ARC. It's a really interesting bullet that travels really, really well. So it's really fun for long range target shooting. And I'm used to getting like pretty high velocities, and I was getting 2,300 feet per second from this round, and I was used to getting like between 2,500 and 2,800 feet per second. So I felt that something was off, and I wanted to make sure it wasn't the gun or if it wasn't anything weird. So I went out in the freezing cold, and this is a little chronograph. Basically, you tell it what's going on, and then it reads the shots. Really cool technology. Wow. This gun is absolutely soaked, which is a lot of fun. It always makes the photos look nice. But I chronographed 3 different types of ammunition, and the ones that we had in Vegas chronographed exactly the same, about 2,300 feet per second. Sure. The other ones that I used the most, 108 grains, I got about 2480, which was exactly what I had thought. And then my little fast guys, I was getting about 2769. So it was nice to be validated for, I like to think that I'm really smart and I know things. So to prove it out with science was good. Nice. But I went out. It was probably 12 degrees without wind chill. And I shot a video for both companies. This suppressor is the other company I work for. We made this. It's completely made in Kalamazoo out of titanium, which is really, really fun. And the water killed my microphone, and I didn't know.
Oh no.
So I shoot a whole video that was probably 16 minutes long of me shooting this and chronographing all the ammo and like talking about each one as I did it. And then I did a whole talking head for the release of the suppressor. And then I was using the side-by-side, because we have a side-by-side like Honda at work, to get back there because it was super snowy. My little Buick Riata is not driving in the snow like that. But about 10 inches of snow all the way back. And so I put my camera up on top of the side-by-side, and I used my wallet, as I often do, to like under the lens to stabilize it and make sure it doesn't go left and right. I do this.
Wallet's good, yeah.
I do this literally all the time. I just have a little card wallet that's made out of leather. It's very small, but it's exactly perfect to go under like the 28 to 70.
I use sticky note packs.
Book, yeah. See that's solid. I need to like leave one of those in my bag or something, because I'll never do this with my wallet again. Mm-hmm. So, because I'm going back and forth, and there's like a few different boxes of ammo, there's all this, I'm like going through it. I grab it and I can't set anything down because there's 10 inches of snow on the picnic table right here that we use at a 100-yard bench. So I'm kind of scrambling. I grab the camera, I just like double check it, and the first like 15 seconds the audio was good. So I pressed play, heard it, was like, that's great. Shut the camera, put it away, moved some other stuff, moved the ammo. By the time I moved the ammo, I had forgotten my wallet was on the roof.
Yes.
I grabbed the gun, I took it off the tripod, I collapsed the tripod, threw it all in the thing, and I left. And it must have slid right off the back of the roof of the side by side, right into the middle of the lane, and very, very powdery, deep snow. It just went. Again, it's a small little leather card holder, so it just went, and right in the middle. Got all the way back up there. Thought I had forgotten a suppressor somewhere, which is way worse. Like, that's an NFA item. It's like, a federal registered part, so like you don't really want to like lose track of them. And so I'm scrambling around or whatever, and I was like, oh, I'm dumb, I put it in the black bag. And I was like, where's my wallet? Yeah, left the wallet. It didn't take me very long to realize I definitely didn't grab it from on top of the car. Went out, I shoveled, I came back, I couldn't find it. A coworker came out with me. John came out with me. Started to get dark. I crashed in Kalamazoo for the night. Hope and Evan were gone, but they gave me access to their house and let me crash. And thankfully, Evan has a Japanese highball on tap in his basement. So it's just like carbonated water and whiskey that comes out of a tap, which is awesome. So I sat and chatted with Elle for like an hour and a half while drinking one of those, very upset and very perturbed at myself. Not only do I never carry cash, I happened to have just over $400 in the wallet, which is something I like literally one day out of 365 days a year do I have any cash, let alone that much. I had actually had it still because I sold my 40 mil F25.
Yeah.
And I don't really care about the cards. I can turn the cards off. I can replace those, but I also have a CPL. A license to conceal carry pistols in Michigan, and like that's kind of a pain to not have for a multitude of reasons for my work, but also just because like you have to go pay money and then you have to go to like your county clerk and do a bunch of stuff. It's just a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
So I was really bummed out. It was brutal. Not only was this very cold, but I didn't find out until I was sitting on the phone at Evan's house talking to Elle that the mic had died from the water. So I plug in DaVinci and I'm like, you know what? If I start editing, maybe I'll just feel better. And I dump it in there and I see the waveform start for 15 seconds and then the whole other 16 minutes was just blank.
No.
In the frame, like look at this, the shot here. This one's not quite as well exposed. I think I exported the wrong one, but this like nice exposure, not too bright, was like my whole talking head, and it was like the roof was perfect height for like a nice medium. I was really cold, but I nailed the take. I did it all in one take. Like I was really happy, and it was like talking about this chronographing process and then the whole A-roll for the release of the suppressor. So I basically had to redo that the next day, so it wasn't nearly as good. Oh, dude, it was such a freaking drag. It was so brutal.
If we could, I'd like to rewind. What the heck is it like going back out there with a shovel in that much snow? You must have been so mad. Like, how do you even think you could find it?
I have autism. Like my brain is weird and I'm different and I just can't accept things sometimes. So I actually wasn't like furious and I wasn't like mad. I was upset and I needed to find my wallet. I didn't have an option. Like I was like, that's why I was like, well, I'm not going home. I'm certainly not going to drive my car that has kind of janky headlights right now very far away with firearms in the car, without my CPL or my license.
Yeah.
And then just like, I could just see it. Like I never get pulled over. And like, that's the day I do.
Sure.
And then it's like, now I have to explain, hey, officer, like, I don't have my wallet because I lost it today at work. I work in the blah, 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 blah. And then I'm like, yeah, why do I have an arsenal in my car? Sorry, I work for 2 firearms companies. I have to transport things to and from different locations often. Here's like my FFL SOT information. Like, I have everything. I have, everything is compliance with not concealing it right now because I lost my concealed carry license, so I can't do that. Like, it's not like having your driver's license.
No.
If you're concealing something, you have to have that license on you. Otherwise, you have to do what everybody else does, which is you have to have like the ammunition and the firearms in different parts of the car so they can't be accessed easily, and things like that. And I had it all like that, but I was like, whatever. I'm just going to go to Evans. He's fortunately 15 minutes away from my work. I slept it off, and I went back out there. Unsuccessful again. And so I froze all my cards, pun intended. And then I got my temporary ID online because then you could just print the temp. And then the next week, I actually think it was probably Monday. The very next Monday, I think it warmed up just enough. John drove out there, and it had melted just enough to like reveal the wallet.
Oh.
But then the radiant sun wasn't enough to like melt under it, so it just stayed right on top.
So you could see it.
Yeah, and then so he, he very nicely grabbed everything. He like took everything out of it and laid it all out on my desk.
Oh,
my studio like locks, so you have to have a thumbprint or a key to get in. And pretty much just me and John at the shop can get in there. So he just like laid out all my stuff, and it was dry when I got home, or when I got there the next week. But yeah, it was so stressful. Don't use your wallet on top of a side-by-side in the snow for a tripod.
Yeah, that's a hard lesson to learn.
Yeah. Yep. I haven't lost a wallet in forever. I've had that card holder for probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyway, it was brutal. At least I had a couple of nice photos, but I really wish the audio from that little excursion panned out. Cause
was there any footage you could still use that you liked that wasn't talking head?
I didn't use it yet, but like I can still B-roll some of that footage for when I'm talking about the mini and some other stuff. But yeah, it's brutal. It's such a pain when you're kind of strapped for time and you're making content for work, and like I check and double check, and I always charge my mics, and I always do everything I can, but then just literally sometimes like a little bit of water was enough to like break the seal. I dried it all out. The mic works again, so like
of course.
It didn't like kill the mic, but I think it killed the connection to the microphone or something. Because just everything was so soaked out there. I don't like. It's so weird how snow works. Like it wasn't like actively snowing. I don't think. Maybe just for a little bit. I didn't feel like I got wet while driving the side by side, but maybe there was just enough that kicked up or something. I have no idea.
Was it like maybe high humidity for the day?
I have to imagine, right? Like if you look at this photo of this, like all of this has water everywhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
and I just don't know how else. Yeah, I don't know. But
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad you got your wallet back. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and I did the A-roll the next day, when I still hadn't had my wallet, so I was like very bummed out, and it was in the studio, which is boring. It looks like every other video, but it is what it is. You live and learn.
Yeah.
That's making content. I haven't had a blunder making content by myself in a long time, so I guess you're due for one every once in a while to remember to, dot your I's and cross your T's or whatever when you're checking audio, checking exposure, checking if you have a card, checking if your stuff is charged, if your camera battery's charged, if you have spare batteries, etc. So
yeah, the only significant one I've had recently is throwing that battery in the washer in the pocket of my pants.
Insane.
So, but it was an off-brand battery, so that wasn't too bad. It did kill the battery, had to toss it, but there's another lesson learned. Check your pockets. Yeah,
I'm actually going to make a short soon. I've been playing with some Tilta brand third-party FZ100 batteries for the Sony.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to come black, but they're actually OD green, which is really cool. They have like
Huh,
a little case. You set 4 in, and then you put one USB-C into it, and it charges all of them. But
nice.
each of the batteries individually also have a USB-C port, so you can individually charge them, which is nice.
Yeah.
They don't bring up any of the like warnings on the Sonys. Like
Oh,
they're
interesting.
encoded, so like they work right with the Sonys.
Are they licensed, do you think?
They're encoded, so
That's some serious reverse engineering for
they're
that.
yeah, there's something. I know that they're legit, which is why I
Cool.
got them, because I don't
Cool.
like needing to like press OK or whatever. Sometimes it'll give you a menu item like, "Hey, this battery is not accurate" or whatever it is.
Right.
But used a few this weekend. They seem to be good. I got them
Nice.
for Vegas, but I actually never needed to get into the spare batteries beyond the few that I took because I didn't actually shoot very much.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
a topic that's interesting because back in the DSLR days, everybody, old heads, everybody would be saying, "Don't use off-brand batteries. They're the power supply. You know, they could be the reason why your camera bricks one day, or something to that effect." And I would tell people that, but not listen to my own advice and use off-brand batteries. I always have. I would have the originals, but I cheap out on I cheap out on batteries. I just have. But I've never had an issue with one
that's
ever.
crazy.
Never.
I've witnessed every battery related failure with third party batteries that anybody talks about.
Mm,
Whether it be my own camera or somebody I know. I have never bricked one of mine, but I've watched 2 people brick their like T3Is
wow.
using old batteries.
But
Um,
I do think that I don't. Maybe you can tell me otherwise. Do you think that that is different now in the mirrorless era, or is it the same? Do you think mirrorless cameras are still having problems with off-brand batteries?
I think there's probably still brands you shouldn't use.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I think companies like Small Rig and Tilta and some of the ones that have kind of figured it out probably
Mhm.
are doing okay. Tilta's a pretty big brand. Like I think they're probably still Chinese based. I'd have to look honestly. I
I
don't.
hadn't heard of them.
I yeah, but I think because they're like really cinema focused is why you haven't.
Oh, okay.
They do a lot of like really high end cages and rigging stuff for like filmmakers.
So kind of
Um,
a similar deal to small rig.
yeah, but for me, they were always like the premium version over small rig,
Oh,
which
sure.
is why I was like, okay, if Tilt is making the batteries, I'll do it. And I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's just like the visuals of their brand. They made it look really premium. They were one of the first people to come out with a very affordable follow focus
Ah,
that was good. That like felt really robust and wasn't like janky, plasticky nonsense. And I have
yeah.
one of their, I've had one for years, one of their follow focuses. I don't use cinema lenses as much as I used to, but when I did, I loved it. I thought it was perfect. And I like these batteries so far. So
Good.
um, yeah, I would still stay away from like Watson and some of those other brands that I know from
Well,
like the Amazon brands because I've seen those kill cameras.
still to this day, I tell people, I mean, if you buy a mirrorless camera today, a brand new one, just use first party batteries. It's not worth the headache if the battery is the problem. Now, me myself, I'm still running a pair of KNF batteries alongside my Nikons, and I haven't had any issues. So,
Sure.
it is what it is. And if a camera dies one day, knock on wood, real hard, then I'll eat my words.
Yeah, for sure. I KNF seems like a pretty good brand. I like their ND filters fine. I think their
Yep.
NDs, even though they have some really expensive ones now, they were kind of the
Yeah.
first like affordable ND that I would tell people to get if they needed a variable ND.
I think it's
Um,
like with anything else. Like, look at the reviews, look at the history of the company, look at what else they make. If it all looks like actual garbage,
yeah,
don't buy the battery.
right,
But if it's KNF or if it's whoever else that seems to make pretty decent other things, and they've got a big enough reputation where they can't really risk, putting out something as bad as a bad battery,
right.
well, then it might be all right. But
Yeah,
again, for me to tell you guys, the listeners and viewers, it might not be worth it. But I run KNF.
yeah. I probably still wouldn't recommend it, but especially with the tariff thing, like a Sony battery is $88.
Yeah,
I got 4 Tiltas with a cool like carrying case charging box for $159.
like that's why I asked if you think they're licensed, because otherwise, like, why would Sony even allow it?
Yeah, I don't know. I doubt licensing is the thing, but yeah, I mean they are encoded, which is nice. And
Well, that's what I think would need
yeah,
to be licensed, right? Like it's a specific
yeah,
design by Sony.
I have no
So
idea.
yeah, I don't know.
I know Patrick Tomaso has used the small rig batteries a ton. And small rig has a good name for themselves in batteries because everybody loves their V mount battery.
Yeah.
They're like little, I think it's like the VB99 and the 99 Pro and stuff. I don't know if there's a filmmaker on YouTube that doesn't swear by that thing because it's super useful. It's really, really solid.
I think I had 2 small rig batteries with the A7 IV before I sold it, and I had one of the small rig rechargeable cases as well, which they worked fine.
Word, word. But yeah, anyway, those are cool. I got a couple of gear things from the old Sony Alpha rumors that I found interesting. The first one being the Songra 50-12 and 85-12 photo.
I saw that. I didn't dig too deep, so tell me what you got.
Yeah, so last episode, I talked about Songra being one of the Chinese companies that kind of came out of nowhere and made like a handful of lenses or whatever.
Yeah.
Chinese company making an f1.2 of each of the things you would want in a 1.2 of. The aesthetic of the lens looks like if Sony did like the original FE 85 and like just gave it a makeover.
Yeah.
So visually, I mean, they look pretty nice.
Yeah.
It looks like they have like a control ring and not an aperture ring kind of situation, maybe.
Sure.
But we'll see. I'm still not really a third-party lens guy, so I probably won't get one. But it's definitely an interesting, competitor into that space doing fast primes that are autofocus.
How many other 85-12 options do you have on Sony?
Right. Well, and it'll, for people that like that kind of thing, it'll be cool. 85 is interesting because it stops being super useful, being super fast. I really like the 35 and the 50-12s because you get the kind of compression that you can't get with something else. But like if somebody said, you have to take an 85-12 or a 135-18, I would take the 135-18 because I still think it's going to look butterier and like kind of nicer than an 85-12. Just has like a much more pleasing compression to me, and I think people at 135 look super, super good.
Yeah, given the out of nowhere nature with few people recognizing this brand, I'm very curious if they make this, what the price will be.
Yeah, I can't remember if it said or not, but I just put it on there for an interesting note. Now, the most interesting note, which is, I just got done saying I'm not really a third-party lens user. I do use the Sigma 28-70 f2.8 because I have it from work, and it's just versatile. So if I need the versatility, it's there. But the Tamron, the 35-100 f2.8 might be the answer to my prayers.
Tell me more.
It looks tiny. It looks very tiny, which means it's gonna extend, which is fine. But it looks like it's probably just barely bigger than my like 50-1.4.
That would be a big deal. Yeah.
And it's a 35-100 f2.8 zoom.
Yeah. I think the size really makes this sellable for them.
For sure.
Small. Yeah.
For sure. And I think so 28-70 is nice. I think it's a really good all-around photography lens. It leaves a little bit to be desired for video, but 35-100 for video is like where I pretty much live for almost anything handheld.
Sure. Yeah.
When you get above that for video, I can use my 200-600 for video, and I do it for birds sometimes and stuff, but it is a hassle. I'm not really sweating 100-200. I have the 70-200, and I'll use that for video. It's a great lens, but it's not an all-arounder like true all-arounder. It's good for sports. It's good for kind of events, but you always kind of at least want a second camera with like a wide prime at least when you're running it. This would be the true do-it-all video. This would be a travel lens for me. I did an awful lot with the 24-105 f4 when I was in the Philippines for 2 months in 2022. But that 2.8, everybody knows I'm a 35 guy, so that's a great place to start. And if it's completely collapsed at 35,
That's nice.
and it's the size of like a GM 1.4 prime, we'll see.
Yeah,
Even if
I
it's a
think
bit bigger.
this is another lens where Tamron gets to flex their versatility muscles. I think that's where they've leaned into, because clearly they're not working on primes too much. I
Right.
think they have like one mirrorless prime lens. This will be great if they can make this, if it's as small as we think it is. I mean, the 28 to 105 Sigma is lovely, but it is chunky.
Right.
So it would be great if it was smaller. And I think I also would take 35 to 100 if it was quite a bit smaller.
Yeah. And so this is for E-mount. It's going to be around in late March, and it says that the price is going to be around $900.
Oh, I didn't know there was a price. That's a really good price.
That's a very good price. I mean, that's encroaching on a great place if they bring it to Z-mount, because it's Tamron, where maybe you don't need to get a 70 to 200. Maybe you just move your 28 to 105 for a 35 to 100, and then you have a compact do-it-all zoom, which that would crush everything for work. At least like for coffee, like you could run that all day long.
Yeah, I use 28 to 105 a lot for work, and if I'm feeling like I want to run light, the 40 does a lot of things. But yeah, I would be more inclined to use the 35 to 100 if it was smaller, more portable, and I don't have to lug around the big bag.
It looks maybe a little bit bigger than. So it says it's 119 millimeters long, and it weighs 565 grams, which is pretty light.
That's fairly light.
But yeah, I don't actually. 119 millimeters, 2 inches. Yeah, it's less than 5 inches.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, 4.68 inches. That is like, we're talking large, fast prime territory. But I thought that was super interesting. That's a very interesting lens to me. I'm like pretty vehemently not really a third-party lens guy. I'm also usually like, I had just a couple of bad vibes with Tamron. I had their 17 to 28, which had like crazy vignetting, and the zoom was backwards. The zoom, everything about it was weird.
And I think the whole industry's come a long way.
Yeah, for sure. But then I also had their 17 to 70 for APS-C, which broke almost immediately upon getting it, which was a pain. I actually sent that in to Adorama and traded it in for something. What did I traded it in with a bunch of stuff to get something a while, but this is like 2 years ago. But yeah, so it's interesting. I like, if it's that small and it's a 35 to 100, that's like, that makes me rethink wanting to get the 28 to 70 f2. Because like it's more than 3 times the price, and like I'm gonna love that lens, but I have a 50, a 24, and a 70 to 200. Like,
sure, yeah,
I could save a ton of money, and again, I would use this over Works 28 to 70. I would do everything on this lens. I think I'm probably I functionally just zoomed in how much I wanted to. Where do you think I zoomed into naturally on this lens?
I don't know, 40.
Yeah, right, 40. The actual supreme. a hair over 35. So probably 40 millimeters.
Yeah.
I'm
at 35 on the 2025.
Just naturally. And I didn't look at it. I just zoomed in how I felt it was comfortable.
Yeah, I think it's going to be time for me to maybe explore a 35 at one point. I have the 40, and the 40 feels good, but a fast 35 would be fun, I think.
Fast 35s are awesome. I haven't touched my 24. I haven't touched it. I use it for.
I haven't had an interest in a 24 in a long time.
The only reason I have a 24 is because I got it so cheaply, and it replaces my 20, my 16, any of my wides. It's my ultra wide.
Yeah.
I would probably want a 20 or a 16 or an 18 or something if I got rid of it, but I only use it for astro. Like almost exclusively for astro, which I do when there's northern lights.
Right.
So
rare.
I'm sure there will be times if I need like inside of a vehicle or something, I'll be like, if I start doing some more SWAT stuff, if I have to be in a Bearcat or something and it's dark, I will love to have it. But it's pretty niche, and I miss my 35. And without the 42.5, it might be a thing. I could get a 35 prime and the 35 to 100 and still have $1,000 left instead of getting a 28 to 70 f2.
I hear you. But I'm probably, if you end up getting that, I am probably still going to hear you talking about the F2. So
yeah. But I'd still be a little more cash rich than if I were to buy it. So
totally.
Yeah.
On the topic of third party, just a little note in the Discord I put in about that Samyang 20 to 50 f2.
Yeah.
I know you're not a fan of Samyang, but would you be interested in the 20 to 50 f2 if anybody else made it?
Yeah, I think that's awesome range. You won't hear me talk ill of short throw fast zooms ever. I think Sigma's 24, was it 24 to 35 f2?
I can't remember. It seems like an odd one, right?
Yeah, it was one of their original art series lenses, and I used one once, and I haven't stopped talking about it since. I thought it was it was just one of the coolest lenses back then.
Yeah.
Back when nobody did that. I think it was 24 to 35 millimeter. Yeah, 24 to 35 f2. They were like, why don't we just throw 2 primes and a thing? And now, of course, they have the 28 to 45, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
But you can get that freaking lens used for like $400.
Sure.
And it's epic. I think it's super useful. If I'm a 35 guy, you can use that basically as a 35 prime all day long at f2. Yep. And then, you're stuck in a room and your back is to the wall. Well, you can't zoom with your feet anymore, prime heads. What are you going to do with that? Mr. All I shoot is my Leica, whatever, Q43. Yeah, I'm jealous that you have a Q43, but I have a wide zoom prime. So I'm going to go to 20 mil. And then you're going to be sad. And you're going to have a way better looking image than me, but mine will be framed correctly. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think they're in the right place where somebody like Samyang needs to be competitive, where like Samyang has to compete against all of the best third parties.
Samyang's been around for a long time, and they were like pretty easily one of the super budget lens makers back in the day, but now is not back in the day, and there are so many more options that are actually very viable. And this is going to be like, this has to be Samyang with more than one lens. Like, they have to make some other f2s. They have to be a little more competitive, and this is a start. This is a good one.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting. Like, it's compelling enough that somebody who's like, I'm looking for, I want to do street photography, and I have enough money for one lens and like maybe an older, maybe not even like an A7 IV, but like I can go buy the on sale A7 III. Mm-hmm. Who in their right mind wouldn't recommend this kind of lens?
Right.
Especially if it's like sub $800. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh,
that's the thing. Yeah.
It's like you don't even need anything else if you're like kind of a street Instagram photographer or whatever, and you're just like dipping your toes in it for fun.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you're not going to find anything like that on first parties. You're not going to find Sigma doing anything quite like that for less than $1,400.
I do think we are going to see, probably through this year, certainly into next year, I would think, more f2 zoom options. I think the machining and capability is there for first party. It's probably going to be a slower rollout for first party, but this is how third party is competitive for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I still think weird f2.8 zooms is a thing. Like Sony made the 16 to 25 and the 25 or 24 to 50. I think that kind of stuff is super competitive as well. It's like, sorry, you don't get 20 mils on the long end, but this thing is half the size.
Well, you know why that's competitive for Sony, though, is because it's Sony glass, it's Sony manufacturing. You know it's going to be good. You know it's going to be sharp. You know the edge-to-edge performance is going to be very acceptable.
Well, yeah, but if Sigma did one, people would want it too.
Yeah, that's true. But like Sigma is nearly first party at this point, so we're talking like other people who probably poop the bed on the corners of that kind of lens.
Well, Lumix did a 24 to 60 as their standard zoom recently, and it was very small. And
that's right. Yeah,
it has some caveats, but it's a great lens. It's going to be one, and it's about $1,000 instead of being still say the L series, GM series, where your standard zoom 24 to 70 is over $2,000. Forget about it, dude.
I think it's really cool to see even first party take a look at what was once like standards for lenses and maybe chop some ends off or just make some stuff weird, see where they could cut costs just because you don't have that extra, going from 70 to 60 mil, and that makes it what, hundreds of dollars cheaper because of the optics formula. Great. Let's explore that. I want to see more of that.
I want to see a ton of that. I think everybody should be doing that. They were like doing it really safe where everybody was kind of going to the like 17 to 28s and the 28 to 70s. And then they're like, but what if we pushed it more? Right. And then that'll give people the comfort. It's like, okay, if somebody will buy a 24 to 50, then why wouldn't we make it faster and slightly larger?
Right.
Why wouldn't we make a 20 to 50 f2? Why wouldn't we make this, that, the other thing? And yeah, it'll be cool. I'd love to see Nikon get into this kind of thing.
Yeah, Nikon really needs to innovate a little bit on the lens selections.
And we know their oddballs are essentially just Tamron lenses that have Nikon's name on them. Like they're 17 to 28 and they're 28 to 75. All of that's basically just the Tamron lens design.
Yeah. And I don't have hope that Nikon's 70 to 200 version 2 that should come out sometime in the first half of this year is going to innovate in a like an f2 kind of way, because the 24 to 70 did not.
Right. Yeah. It's just going to be good, and they'll improve it and make sure that it's what it needs to be.
And that's fine.
But is that worth $2,800?
Probably not when you've got all these other awesome options.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like that's a hard sell if Tamron's going to drop a 35 to 100 for sub 1,000, which is crazy. And you're like you and me, where you have a little bit longer than that covered really well, and then you have inside of that covered fast, or outside of it, right? Like when you're rocking a 20 and a 16 or whatever you're doing on that end, 35 to 100 is great. Like, because if I'm going wider, I'm going faster, so I'm going to want to prime anyway.
Yeah. I do have a good feeling about this year for lenses across the board, though, for everybody. I think this is going to be a creative lens year.
Yeah, we actually kind of like stepped back from talking about gear the last couple of episodes, so it's good to get into. But I actually do think this year is going to be really interesting for kind of all tech. I think last year was everybody kind of waiting for everybody to lay whatever ground they were going to do, and now Sony and Nikon and all of them, like Nikon's due for some big high-end stuff, and the high-end stuff's fun because like I guess I used to say that I don't have a dog in that race, but I bought an A9. So like now I'm into the high-end stuff, but I'm not really looking for I want something like the A7 IV. Like I'm waiting for that to go on sale, kind of.
Yeah.
So if that thing goes, even $300 off, if that's a $2,500 camera, getting one. So yeah, it's exciting. Lenses are cool. We should see maybe an A7R6 this year. I wonder if they're going to drop the Z9 II before they do the Z8 II again. Like that's how they set up the last time.
Yeah, the Z8 came a year after the Z9, I believe.
Yeah, and I don't know what that will look like for Nikon now, because like they're not going to race to like the next type of sensor. They're not. So like, who knows? It'll be exciting all around. I think it's funny looking at kind of the R5 II, which didn't make that much of a splash. It felt like a refresh. I think Nikon's in a really good position that the Z9 and the Z8 were so good for so long that like the Z8's still a great camera. Like you're not hoping.
I have a very short list of what I want out of a Z8 too.
Yeah, like you're not wishing the Z8 II could come out right now. So you're in a good position where you could be like, let's see if they do something cool. If they don't, I'll wait for the next one.
Right.
Because my stacked sensor camera is going to live for quite a while, and you're going to be in good shape. Do we have an update on your shutter count?
For the Z8, after the last few things I've shot, I would probably put my money on close to 110, 120,000.
Okay.
I'll check after the show, and maybe I'll post a story or something. But I think it was 80,000 like a month or two ago, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to find a new tool because the tool that I was using for my Sony shutter count just says the A9 III doesn't have a mechanical shutter, so there's not a shutter count.
Maybe the metadata is different for that platform. That's interesting.
I don't know, but I want to know how many shots I've taken. I know that I've gotten to, I think it stops at 9,999 and then it goes back to 1. And I know I've done that a good handful of times now.
Jeez.
So I probably have 40,000 at least into the camera.
The Nikon one for NEF files, there's like one website everybody uses. That one does it with no shutter in the Z8, so that's cool.
Right, I'll have to find it. Okay, so kind of last order of business. So as of this episode being up, if I do my job correctly, which will be the rest of my evening today, I will have the Vallerret glove video done, which these are my tendons from them.
Yes.
I shot the A-roll today because I've been so busy with so many things. But it was also 50 degrees out, so I'm in a flannel.
It's been miserable for a while.
Surrounded by snow, so it was interesting. But I'm going to cut this video up a little bit. You'll have seen it, or you can go watch it right now if you're watching or listening to this video on our YouTube channel. This is how it's going to go. It's very, very simple. We're going to have a post on our Instagram, the light dot overtime Instagram page, where you can like, tag a friend, repost, whatever. If you do any of that stuff, we're going to collect the names into a spreadsheet, and then you can get one extra entry if you submit to our next photo share, which will be the next episode of this podcast. So the photo share is going to be Wintry Photography, and that can be anything related to Wintry Photography. So you submit to lotpodsubmissions@gmail.com, like we always do. I'll put them in a big folder. I'll throw them up into my Lightroom, and David and I will kind of go through them. We'll also have our own. We are not eligible ourselves for the giveaway, so you don't have to worry about that. We will collect all those names. I kind of want to see if I can pull off doing a live where I put all the names into a spreadsheet, and then I use a number generator online to show it off live, which I will save as a post on the Instagram page. That way you guys can like see it happen and you know it's legit or whatever. But then the winner will reach out to Vallerret, as I understand, and you will get their sizes to them.
We'll connect them. Yeah.
Well, we'll connect you to them. You don't have to just like go reach out. We'll get you connected via your email and their email, so they can get you fitted for your glove, so you get the right size glove. Otherwise, they would have like sent us a pair that were like large, and then I'm sure some like awesome smaller person would be like, "Well, I can't do anything with a large glove."
They'll get you the right size.
And we don't know until kind of this is over if you're going to get a Markov V3 or a Tendon. It sounds like the way they do like big batches of like ordering, so whatever will be in stock will be kind of available. I really want a Markov.
They're both great. I have both. I often will choose the Markov unless it's just that cold.
Yeah. So giving away a little bit now that hopefully you've already watched the other video, because I'm going to give it a few hours between that video and this releasing. My hands will stay warm, toasty in these things.
Yeah.
Some of the B-roll in that video where I had Elle shoot video of me while we were out birding, it was like sub-zero, literally. And my whole body's cold and my hands are like warm. Like just like radiating heat inside of the gloves, which is like, I don't have a pair of gloves that's like that. That's that warm. So that's pretty cool. But
and
that
they
does
have the zipper pouches, so you can stick a hand warmer in them to supplement. You don't really need to.
You don't. I would put like I don't know if you're a Zen user or something. Maybe you can throw some pouches in there or something. These gloves are freaking warm.
Yeah, you probably saw the video of me checking in with Miles.
Yeah,
and he said I've got hand warmers in them. He's got a pair of Tendons himself.
Yeah.
He said I've got hand warmers in them, and my fingers are getting pruny because it was so hot in his gloves.
Yeah,
they work well.
It's truly awesome. Yeah, so they're great. You're gonna really like them. I think these are like really, really solid. They're supposed to be the deep winter glove, but the Markovs look so stylish. Like, I just think
Yeah.
they look so good. So
And I think if you don't need that much warmth, the thickness of each fingertip is perfect to
mm,
operate everything on the camera. I talk about this in the video.
yeah,
That the Markovs are perfect for just actual operating the camera with every bit of dexterity you want.
yeah, and like I said, the tendons are deep winter.
Yeah.
They're thick gloves, but the rubber on them's nice. Like, they're grippy. They're good. I think the way they set up the magnets in them's awesome.
Yeah.
I've been really happy with my experience. This is my first experience with them. Go watch the video. David will kind of tell you kind of the thing.
Yeah.
But it was really cool that they were down to work with us and do a little bit of a giveaway. I'm absolutely going to buy Elle a set of Markovs, and I'm probably going to get myself a set of Markovs as well.
Yeah,
Because,
it's worth looking on the site. They have a bunch of different options. They have
Yeah.
like liners and stuff too.
yeah, so it's super cool. Super
Thank
big
you,
shout out to them.
Vallerret.
Yeah, thank you guys. That's cool as hell. And like I said, I mean, I wanted to just be kind of critical when I got into them, and my criticalness was my hands are hot.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, what did I want? It was negative degrees the entire time I was using them. So that was super sick. So if you haven't already watched that video, go watch that video. The post, I guess, is actually up as well, because I'll do the post in the future. Future me will do the post when I post the video. So yeah, just make sure you're following Light Overtime. If you want to follow, Core Bartos and _ David Sargent, that's awesome too. But that won't be required for the giveaway. It's just extra browning points. And then yeah, do submit, because your name will get put on that Excel sheet twice, which means
Yes.
the random number generator will give you another chance to potentially walk away with gloves.
lotpodsubmissions
At gmail.com.
gmail.com. Wintry Photography.
Yep, and the links will be everywhere. We'll talk about it. I'll do some stories and stuff, but one of the things I say in the video is, like, even if it's from the warmth of your own home and you're shooting a landscape from out your window, whatever you think wintry photography is to you, if it's a photo of your friend cold photographizing something out in the snow and you're in the warmth of a car, hilarious. It doesn't matter. So if it's Christmassy, if it's ice, if it's whatever, maybe it's you're soaking it up on the sun at vacation in December and you're in Mexico and you're like, holding up your phone and it shows it's December 20th and it's like 90 degrees where you are. Jealous. Yeah, so whatever that is.
And while we will not be criticizing photos, we asked Vallerret if we could do this. We wanted to give away a pair of gloves. So all we want is your participation. We will not be judging your photos. We will just look at them, appreciate them, love the art you made, and appreciate that you participated. And then if you win, great, you get some awesome gloves.
Yeah, if you haven't seen our last photo shares, we just talk about what we see, what we're looking at, and we get to share your photography, which is fun. Just like we did with our images today, we just go through them so you can see them and you see how we're using our cameras and what we're doing.
And if you want to, you can add some description in your submission if you email us. If you want to add socials, that's great.
Yeah, metadata, what you were doing, why you took it, anything or nothing, or just say this is my submission to your thing and post your photo.
Works too.
But I will try to suss out if I feel like the photo like isn't yours or something. I don't know why you would do that. It's like, it could be a phone photo. You don't have to be a master photographer. If what you shoot your photos on is a phone, that's what you shoot your photos on.
We just want you to be you.
Yeah. So definitely participate. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Much like this episode. I really took for granted the times where we could do this every week and we were so much less busy as people. Adulting, as us millennials love to say so often, is hard.
It does feel like every weekend I have got stuff to do, you know?
Yeah, so so thanks for chatting.
Yeah.
I'm excited that it's going to warm up, because I know birding is right around the corner and all the other wonderful adventures is right around the corner, such as my wedding and everything else. So there's going to be a lot of cool photography this year. There's going to be a lot of cool gear. Hang in there when it gets gear heavy, because I'm a dork. And then
some of us look forward to that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. So that's all I have. I don't think I have any other notes.
The only other thing I had was I shot rail jam. That was fun. I don't have any photos to share yet.
Oh,
I did share a reel.
fair enough. Yeah,
So there's a little video of
I
some
saw that you
snowboarders.
were doing rail jam again. So
Yeah,
if
my
you
second year doing that.
yeah,
It was very cold. Oh, I could talk about something if you got like 2 minutes for me.
yeah. What's up?
28 to 105. Terrible
Oh
performance.
man. All right, so this is after hours. I wish I had another beer already queued up.
Oh my god. I texted you when this was happening, constant disconnections, and I have the Megadap adapter right
Yeah.
on the Z8, and 28 to 105 Sigma, and I love this lens. I love the look. I love what it does for me. That's why I adapted it and kept it on this system. I could have sold it off. I didn't. I don't know if it was just the cold because it was single digit temperatures or what, but constantly all night the adapter and lens would disconnect electronically. It stopped communicating correctly to the camera, and so what would happen is the aperture and focus would go crazy, and then I'd have to turn the camera off, disconnect, reconnect everything, make sure it was tight, turn the camera back on, and it would reset, and then I'd have to grab focus again, and that happened at least half a dozen times. When you're trying to be productive in a professional way, and I'm just doing this for fun, but I take it seriously, that is unacceptable. Like those are the times where you really need it the most, not when I'm out, doing a photo walk on my own, but like actually people are they're competing for money, so I'm like trying to get good photos, and I try to share them with some of the people involved, and that's great, but not when I actually just can't shoot. I'm just literally like fumbling around with the equipment. That's no good. So I will be selling the 28 to 105 when I can find a good replacement, and that is making me look at the 70 to 200.
Yep.
Because that's like, not quite the same lens, but I do like a 70 to 200. I am considering that Viltrox 135. I am considering the Viltrox Pro 85 1.4. And you know what? If Songraw wants to make an 85 1.2, I'll look at that too. But I am going to be looking at options. Versatility is great on this lens, so we'll see what ends up happening. If Tamron makes that 35
to 100. Well, so there's actual photos of it now. It's not just I think originally.
It's not an if, it's a when. That's great.
Yeah. Originally, I think Andrea Pizzini posted it was like a AI photo, but there's two actual photos of the lens, and it looks tiny.
Sorry, I'm just mad because this is like I went through two adapters, right? I spent the extra money on the good adapter. It's a professional lens. It's Sigma's, one of the better lenses. I think I'm allowed to be mad. I know it's not meant for the Z system, but I bought into this and I wanted it to work.
Yeah.
And it works most of the time, but it can't just be most of the time.
Yeah, you're not asking anybody to feel bad for you. You're just asking to be allowed to be upset that your stuff wasn't working. That's totally acceptable. Yeah. I feel you.
And you know what? It's just made worse by the fact that like you can't feel your fingers and stuff. I had the Markovs and not the tendons. Maybe I wouldn't be so mad if I had the tendons that night.
Yeah, it sounds like it was pretty cold. Let me know if you try to offload that. I think you could probably get such a good price for it that I won't be able to afford it for what I would want it for. But if you're trying to move it, I would certainly look at it again.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'll just have to borrow it when you're really close to selling it again, just so I can get some time with it to see what I left. Because I sold it back in haste because it was still in the return window.
Sure.
So maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, and it's actually just it's an E-mount lens, so it'll work great on my cameras.
It will, yeah. And that's the thing. I just want something professional, native, good. You'll be the first to know.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I usually am. I guess I don't know if this is going to come out right away on the Z mount because it just says E mount. But
right, yeah.
That would be really sad if that doesn't come out on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! And I think somebody else is doing. Is Viltrox doing a 35 to 51.4?
Oh, that'd be their first zoom, really, right?
Yeah, I think so. So let me just.
And it's a 1.4.
So, a rumor circulating on Chinese social media hints at groundbreaking full-frame zoom lens in 2026, 35 to 51.4, reportedly developed by a well-known Chinese manufacturer, possibly Viltrox.
Now that's sellable.
Yeah, well, that's a lens right there. That's exactly what I was talking about when it comes to a double prime. That's literally a double prime.
Whoa.
I won't buy it because it's Chinese, but
I
That's
like
fine.
the Viltrox. I mean, I've got the 16. I like what I've got. So
Okay. Actually, yes. So, it did leak in the Z lens as well, but I just didn't. I don't look at Nikon.
the Tamron.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's 2 millimeters longer, probably because the Z mount's a little different. But it's about the same weight, and it still says shipment starts late March, around $900.
Okay. Dude, I could sell the Sigma, get that lens, and probably one other Viltrox lens.
No. You know what you could get. So the thing that we didn't talk about today, where is it? The 40f2 that Mike posted in the Discord.
Oh yes.
That's a beautiful little lens.
Voigtlander, right?
Yeah, it's a Voigtlander something or another.
The Sep something. Yeah.
Yeah, the Septon 40mm f2, manual focus but pancake, has nice knurling for the focus, and it looks like that's going to be a E mount in March and then a Z mount in April. So you could probably get a really classy looking 40mm and a.
So I'll have two 40mm lenses where I get rid of my versatile Sigma lens. And I like that.
Well, I would just sell your Nikon 40.
Maybe
autofocus is cool, but style points.
Right.
Or you glue this.
I think I'd rather sell the 51.4 that I have and just have two 40s, because that Nikon 50 is the most disappointing 50 I've ever had.
That's pretty sad.
It's so soft. It's fine, but it's so soft.
So sell that in the 28 to 105 for the 70 to 200.
Yeah, that could be the play.
Anyway, all good ideas. Wait for Tamron to step up with a really cool lens that I'm actually interested in. I haven't cared about Tamron in a good long minute. Yeah,
so I guess keep watching. I'll probably post some snowboarding and ski competition shots here pretty soon.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'm unfortunately, for those of you who don't care about firearms, I'm doing a lot of gun stuff. Thankfully, I also have dedicated pages for that stuff, so I don't flood it into
you post beautiful images on those, and I love it.
Yeah, if you like product photography, I think I do a good job.
I do.
And then so follow, I guess, all my pages. I definitely post on my firearm stuff more. But we got some good bird stuff lately.
Yeah.
I should just call this like Core Bartos birding on this account, to be honest. But yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. We didn't even plug it yet, but do follow us on Instagram and then join the Discord. You can reach out to us on Instagram or on YouTube. Let me know how I can get a hold of you, or email us on lotpodsubmissions. And if you don't have those social medias but you're interested in the Discord, would be happy to kind of invite you that way.
Yeah, I'm very active on Instagram. I've had half a dozen people from Discord, or who ended up getting into the Discord, just DM me on Instagram and I'll get you right in. Yeah,
it's good fun. Sometimes I'll miss it, and you just gotta, you can always comment on a post and say, hey, I DM'd you, because a lot of the messages direct on Instagram will get put into requests if I don't follow you back. Yeah. So just say, hey, I DM'd you, take a look, and we'll get you in. Perfect. But yeah, we're only gatekeepy as to keep as much spam out of it as possible. If we know
jerks allowed.
Yeah, if we know that a human being is asking to come in, there's no reason that we don't want you in there. So just reach out, unless you end up being a jerk, in which case we'll ban you. But that hasn't happened yet, because normal people who are accountable for themselves usually aren't super douchebags. But yeah, anyway. Thanks for listening. This has been the 63rd episode of the Light Over Time podcast with David Sargent and Korey Bartos. I am proud of that fact. We've been doing this is this the third year?
Yeah,
this is the third year. So we're definitely breaking 100 this year. I think we did like 11 to 15 shows last year. It'll be more than that. I want to do a lot more than that. I think
better be more than that.
I think we can get 40 episodes in this year.
Yeah.
I'd like to do a couple live ones. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I do know in June, when we do our trip, I think we're going to leave Oscoda and head up to the UP. So it'd be cool to snake up there on our way up to our massive trip. But we'll see what happens.
Very good.
All right, that's all I got.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.